How do you work with somebody that is experiencing visions? You were talking about a certain type of psychosis.
Yep.
Is it just to listen to that, or do you try and guide them out of that, or play with those visions in order to heal them?
It absolutely depends on the person and the situation. We like to talk about the idea of person-centered care, but that really is what you do. We often work with people who've got auditory hallucinations, so they might hear voices or bells or anything really. Then they've got visual hallucinations, so they might see things. It could be anything from, we'll take my wife, for example. She was quite unwell for a little while and she used to see the Undertaker. And it was an 18th century Undertaker, with the white, high
collars
and the tall hat and stuff like that. So, and you kind of go, okay, so what do you think that's about? And then you have a discussion around it. But I'm able to do that with her because she doesn't have a psychotic illness.
Sure.
She's got complex PTSD.
Wow.
Someone who's absolutely psychotic, a lot of the time if they are, visually hallucinating, you can't really interrupt them because they're just so in that visual hallucination. But that's stuff that we know now. 50, 60 years ago, you'll just go, oh, they're crackers.
Yeah, I looked at a hospital yesterday. I knew you were coming on, and it was very different 50 years ago. They would lock them in a room and with a tiny hole in the door, and you see them poking their hands out the door and, electric shock treatment. And
they're still doing that.
Are they?
Yeah, but it works.
It does work?
Yeah.
So it is a chemical reaction in the brain. I mean, it's not the cause, but there is a reaction in the brain that allows them to see things, act in certain ways.
We don't really know. That's the thing. For some people, they may have an organic change in their brain. So, for example, people who get dementia with Lewy bodies, that means that they get visual hallucinations, but that's because the structure of their brain has changed, which then means that the way that their brain works changes. And again, people with who've had car accidents, have blown their brains off with meth. It's a structural change.
Right.
But we still really don't know.
You're still researching, finding out.
Really don't know. Well, I mean, one of the things is you can't really get into the brain when they're having the hallucinations.
Yeah.
All you can really do is things like, CAT scans and MRIs and things like that. But to try and do an MRI on someone who's visually hallucinating, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Let's put them in a tunnel and lock them into this small space just so that we can get a picture of their brain. We wouldn't do it because that'd be cruel.